Hi folks, welcome to the setup tutorial for the long-awaited second generation of cricket stands. If you haven't yet, you can watch Cal's introduction video here, where he talks about the new design and all his reasoning behind it. Thank you for choosing a Cricket 2.0. You'll be so pleased with how quickly and smoothly these carbon fiber beauties go together. These instructions will be exactly the same for all three cricket models. So whether you have the Ultralight, regular, or bridge cricket, follow the same sequence. In this video, Cal will be setting up the regular model. Please make sure your first setup is in the safety of your home. This way, you can make sure you have all the necessary components, send us an email with any questions that come up, and overall feel confident in your setup. Trust us, it's a lot more fun figuring things out in your backyard than in the middle of nowhere. Use your parts list to ensure that you have all the correct components in your bag. We do our best to pack everything correctly, but we are humans and make errors occasionally. Email us right away if something is missing and we'll take care of it. Here you see Cal removing the ridge cable, which we also call the peak cable, and two hubs from the bag. Then the magic begins. Find one of the two ridge poles by looking for the angled bend piece. Grab onto that bend piece, pull it out of the bag, and shake it a little to help the poles assemble themselves. Once assembled, lay that ridge pole on the ground and repeat with the other ridge pole. Arrange the two ridge poles on the ground in a diamond shape. Next, grab a hub and locate the Yobo Gear logo. It should be facing up toward the sky and read left to right. If it is not oriented correctly, your stand will not go together. Insert the two ridgepole ends on the outermost holes, twisting gently to make sure the bushings lock in and rest snugly against the hub. You should still see the Yobo Gear logo facing toward the sky. Repeat on the other side. Once your ridge poles are secured in the hubs, grab your ridge cable. Insert it into the keyhole at the bend pieces. This will automatically pop your peak. Gen 1 Cricket OGs will understand why this is awesome. Time to start on the legs. Pull them out one at a time, and just like the ridge pole, shake to help them assemble themselves. You will need to pay attention to the cordage on the legs. This leg has a long diagonal line and a small cable loop. Lay it on one end of the stand. This next leg has a long diagonal line and a shorter tension line. Put this leg on the same side as the other leg with the cable loop. Follow suit with the other two legs, ensuring that you have one cable loop and one tension line on each side of your cricket stand. Cal forgot to insert the brow pole before, so he's going to show you how to do it right here. It just inserts right into the holes in the bend piece. Back to the legs. The placement here is important. Make sure your diagonal line is running alongside your cricket stand. This will make sense after you set your stand up the first time. Also, the shorter leg tension line needs to be oriented toward the other leg of the stand, so it can clip in easily with no twisting or tangling. Insert the legs into the holes on the hubs, again twisting gently to lock the bushings snugly against the hubs. If needed, twist the bottom segment to orient the cable loop and tension line toward each other. Then hook the Namaclaw into the cable loop. Make sure you're hooking it into the cable, not the cordage. The cordage is only there to make sure the loop doesn't get lost inside the pole. Pull the line snug, but don't overdo it. Crickets respond best to a little finesse. No need to muscle it. Repeat on the other side. Your leg tension cordage is tight enough if you can lift up the hub and the legs don't fall out. Finally, you can attach all four diagonal lines to the small cable loops in the bend piece. These lines will not cross like the Gen 1 cricket diagonals did. Just clip them into the loop on that same side. Gently pull until there's a little tautness on the line to lock everything in place. How tight should your diagonal lines be? Taut, but not wrenched on. You can see when Cal tightens the diagonal lines, it brings the legs in slightly. Make sure they're still flared outward from the hub and not sucked under the stand. Time for the tarp extension poles. You can plug one pole directly into your hub or use the extra extender piece for more headroom and the perfect fit for a longer tarp. Stand assembly is complete. Up next, we'll show you options for how to hang your hammock, our favorite way to attach tarps, and ideas for staking out your stand. Speaking of, right now in the setup process is the perfect time to stake your stand down, especially if you're expecting wind. As soon as you put a hammock or tarp on this extra lightweight carbon fiber, it could turn into a sail. Remember, if it's light enough to carry, it's light enough to blow away if you're not in your hammock. We'll show you some tie-down methods a little later. Now, let's hang a hammock. There is no one way to do this, and some hammock suspensions are a little different. Do what works best for you. We've attached some webbing to our continuous loop for maximum adjustability. This is our recommendation for ease and adjustment. Option 1. Place the tarp pole through a loop on the webbing and reinsert it into the hub. Option 2. Place the webbing alongside the tarp pole and use a carabiner to clip it into place. Option 3. Loop the webbing on the bottom insert of the tarp pole. Whatever method you choose, repeat it on the other side. Once your hammock is hung, you know we gotta say it. You must sit slowly in it to check your work. This applies whether you're hanging from a stand or from trees. For your safety, put your weight in the hammock gradually and do not flop or fall into it. Check your ridgeline tautness, make any necessary adjustments, then kick back and enjoy. Up next, adjusting the leg height. This only applies if you have the adjustable aluminum segments on the bottom of your cricket legs. Cinnamon the dog could not have been less interested in this segment, and you'll see her insisting we play ball with her instead. Try not to get distracted by her cuteness. Modern carbon fiber is very flexible, so don't worry if you're not on perfectly even ground with your cricket stand. The carbon fiber can absorb some unevenness and still be sturdy. That said, if you want to level everything out, it's easy to do. Just unclip the leg tension cordage and the diagonal. Then use the spring button to get the leg at the height you want it. Cal is raising this leg to make the hub completely level instead of running downhill. Once everything is where you want it, reconnect the cordage. You can use the leg adjustment as well as the webbing to get a pretty dramatic drop in head height if that's how you like to sleep in your hammock. Time for a tarp. We'll be using our 12-foot side entry tarp for this video, which works really well for a stand, since the entry isn't anywhere near all the cordage and poles on the end. We love the double internal pole mods as they give you the maximum amount of room inside your setup. For all of our tarps, we prefer using tarp suspension lines rather than attaching the D-rings directly to the tarp pole. It allows for way more adjustability. Shock cord is a great option, or using our sliding tarp adjusters that we make in-house and sell on our website. Those are what Cal is using right here. Once your pole mods are in place, you get to decide how to attach your tarp. As usual, we've got several options for you. If there is no wind Or if you've already secured your stand to the ground really well, you can clip the tarp corners to the loops on the diagonal lines. This right here is a glorious tarp mode for a nap in the shade or an extra warm, clear night. Another option is to tighten the front two corners down a little, which will leave the doors on the end open and give you a nice cross breeze. To close your doors for privacy and extra shelter, put a stake in between the legs of the stand. Once your doors are how you want them, drop stakes at all the tie-out points all the way around the rainfly. On this one, there are 8. We live in Wyoming and are no strangers to 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts while camping, so we always go the extra mile when securing the tarp. One of Cal's favorite ways to do so is to run a line directly from the tarp pole to the ground. Shown here is our sliding tie-down line, which we also sell on our website. It needs to go on underneath the tarp suspension, so lift that up and place the tie-down line first. Run it down to a stake that is out at an angle from the stand. For an ultra beefy belt and suspenders kind of precaution, you can place 2 tie-down lines on each side of the stand to create a triangle. If you're expecting a serious windstorm, this move can keep your tarp pole from snapping under pressure. We won't go so far as to say it's tornado-proof, but it's about as secure as you can get, short of calling it and going home. By the way, these tie-down options work on all of our stands, not just Cricket. We're not joking about the extreme winds out here. We've even added mini carabiners to our tarp doors for extra security. Luckily out here, storms go as quickly as they come, so we don't let that stop us from getting out there. Here's the inside view. Plenty of room in here. The peak is holding strong, and the brow pole and pole mods are keeping it spacious. Lastly, we'll show you how we like to stake Cricket down. Remember, the most effective time to do this is before you put any fabric like a hammock or tarp on your stand. All you need to do is loop some cordage around the hub. Again, you can use your own or buy this from us, and stake it to the ground straight down from the hub. That means it will be inside the legs a little, since they flare out from the hubs. A second option is to use continuous loops to stake each leg down individually. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We have one last bonus tip for you that will make your life way easier. As you probably know, attaching metal to the end of cordage is sure to cause big knots and lots of frustration. To avoid this, when you put your stand away, clip the enamel claws on the legs into the cable loops before wrapping the cordage around the legs. If you don't let those things dangle free, they can't cause any trouble. We hope this tutorial gives you a ton of setup options and ideas. Thank you for choosing a Cricket stand. Send us your setup pictures. It makes us so happy to see you all enjoying our products out in the world. Happy hammocking from Cal, Kristen, and Cinnamon.